Dan Galusha, and welcome to another edition of Dan's Fishing Tales. We're going to be talking about swimbaits today and the different sort of tail actions that they have, and actually it's a very simple lure to fish. And like I said, this is pretty much basic 101 swimbaits. First off, it has a paddle tail to the most part. There's also a hybrid, which we'll get into too. It's one that I'm using. It's called a puddle thumper. It's put out by the QC Lure Works, and but we're going to get to that in a little bit. The first one is just the simple swim tail, and I'll grab that right here. This is a natural forage bait one that is called a fathead minnow. You can see it's a little bit fatter. Well, they have a thinner one too, and it's just called a swim bait. And you can see the tail is just a paddle, and it's an excellent paddle for all the different techniques. Now, what sort of techniques am I talking about? Well, the one is just plain old cast out and reel in. The pump. Now, I pump it a lot. I'll let it drop all the way to the bottom, and this tail will go down. It'll be swimming on the way down, and that's why the head sometimes you want to switch it to some sort of a head that's got a blade, such as the Casey's head, the Roadrunner Casey's head. That one really works well. It's got a ball bearing swivel, it's got a blade. I'll show you one of those here in a little bit too. But first we're going to be talking about these tails. And again, you can see that tail. And this one's about an average size tail. It's put up, and it's got a very good swim action. Now, say you want something that has a little bit more of a thump to it, or even something that will go back and forth when you're doing a pump a little bit better. Well, you're going to want a wider tail, such as this jaw jacker that's put out by QC Lure Works. And you can see the tail is much wider. It's bigger than the other one. Now, say you want a tight wiggle. Well, smaller tail, right? In fact, so small that it's hard to see the lip. And I'll show you that. This is on one that is a, I gotta find it here. Here it is. Got it laying underneath something. This is just a straight tail, or at least it looks like it. Now, whether you can see this or not, this is going to be pretty hard for you to see. There is a lip that comes all the way around the edge of this tail, and that makes it a very tight wiggle. So you don't have the that wild wobble. Now, I was telling you about a hybrid, and this particular one is called a puddle thumper. Now, the puddle thumper has got, and I'll show you here, it has two tails to it. It has a regular grub. It's got a little bit different than a grub's head. It's more like a swim bait section up above. It's got the belly, it's got everything. But back here, you have the curl tail. On the end, you have a very small paddle tail. So you've got the best of both worlds with this one. We're going to be fishing one here pretty soon. I'm not sure what we're going to fish. Oh, another one. Now this is a double one, and this is on the Team Crappie extractor. In fact, they put one on quite similar to that grub, that thumper. They put one on a what they call a crappie slapper, slapper. There, you get tongue-tied on that. This one has real small swim tails, two of them, one here, one there. So you really have a different action with this one. And that one, like I said, is called a crappie extractor, and it's for crappie. So swim baits can be for any species. You can use a very small one. I used to use one that Man's made. It was a very small swim grub, they called it. They didn't call it swim bait, they call it swim grub. In fact, the first swim bait I probably fished was one that was called a Vivif. I don't even have one of those here with me. And it had twin hooks in it. It was all built in, and you had to order those. They were supposed to be from France or something or other at that time, but it's called a Vivif. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think Hedden took over and started manufacturing those. And they were an excellent bait, but they weren't made out of a plastic. They were made out of a kind of a rubber. It wasn't the regular rubber that, you know, you'd see the old rubber worms, as they call them. This one was a little bit different. It was more solid, but it had a nose to it. The minnow is all one body. You did not hook them on like these. Now, since we're talking about hooking them on, we're going to talk about the heads, and that's what I told you about. Okay, the one head, in fact, on this one, I'll just show you that. The one, and I think we're going to probably start fishing this one first. This is a bee fishing precision H2O head, and it's a 3/16 ounce head, and it's those are real good heads, but there's times when you want a little bit more of an attraction, like I said, like a blade, or you want it to hold better, and that's what we're going to show you here. Blitz makes a swim bait head, and it's right here, and this one holds, by the way, just like you would with your with those. It has this keeper hook like this, and this is for a bigger one. So as you can see, it's a bigger head. It's a bigger head, bigger hook, the whole thing. But that is a Blitz. Now, here's one they have that if I can get a hold of it, they have got swim bait head with a spring on it. Now this is the one I said that really holds good. You got to thread it on actually with it, but once it's on there, it's really on, and I'm not using one of those right now today. But they also have an underspin. Now, the one underspin that I use a lot is, like I told you, the Casey's head. And you can see that really, you got a good ball bearing swivel on it. It's got a willow leaf blade, so if you're doing that pump retrieve, like I said, not only do you have that tail fluttering around, but you have this blade going up and down as well. We'll put that back in there. Now, what we'll do, and I have no idea what we're going to be catching here today, if anything. It's hot out, and I've actually been doing very, very well with 4-inch natural forage bait R4 worms. That's always my go-to in hot weather, and especially on a lake like this that has got a lot of weeds. We're a ways away from the boat dock. It's up that direction, and well, we're going to try this out here and we're going to see what happens. And this, by the way, is the jaw jacker, the QC Lure Works jaw jacker. There we go. What I did, now I used several different retreats. I won't bore you with keeping them on camera, but I used a pump retrieve, and I had a hit on that. But I was going a little bit slower. I'll get this fish back in the water. I was going a little bit slower with it, and on the pump, and I had a hit, just slight hit. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try to keep it above the weeds, but go slow enough just to swim over the tops of them, and that's what I did in order to get this fish. So you can see that varying the retrieve, plus the fact I'm not too sure this wider tail is going to stir them into striking today. They're going to want something perhaps smaller, and I may try that puddle thumper in just a little bit, but we're going to try this again since I did get one on it. One fish is not a pattern. Here's a tip for you on swim baits. There are times, I mean all the time, when the head all gets worn out, but this back part is still intact. Well, there are times when you can cut that front part off. I'll show you here. This is a different one, but you cut the front portion off and you say about right here where the hook in that would be destroying it, and then you use the body back here. Now it's a shortened version of it, but there are times when those shortened versions will work and yet still have a thicker body and the same sort of a tail. Now this particular one that I'm going to put on, because this is one that I've shortened, as you can see, this is a natural forage bait swim bait. This is swim bait. This is not the fathead minnow. And the tail though is still the same. It's the smaller tail, and the reason I'm doing that, before I go to that thumper, I'm going to try this tail. Just to see if there might be a difference, because there is a difference a lot of times. Also, I'm using a green shad color, which has been very, very good in this lake. Definitely getting hits on this shortened version, and I've got one on right now if I get him in. I don't know if he's in weeds or what. Barney, of course, is going to take a look. There we go. Not a bad fish. Bad fish at all. And again, that is on that shortened version of natural forage baits swim bait. And I've had several hits on that, and there's another fish anyway. So now we got to figure out what actually is doing it, because I switched several things by doing this. I switched the size, I switched the tail action. That tails are just a little bit tighter action because it's a smaller tail, but any way you look at it, I'm definitely getting more hits and catching more fish, which I've already proven. Since I put that on, and it hasn't been that long, I've had 4 hits, and 2 resulted in fish, except that one got off that you see. And we'll make some more casts and see how it works, but I think this is the secret on the swim baits today, is this shorter version, maybe the green shad, but again, the tail is smaller, definitely. And it is got a tighter wiggle, and that might be it. I'm still getting hits on this, but I'm going to switch to that thumper, that puddle thumper. We're going to put it on a different rod. In fact, I think I'm going to put it on this one. This is a B&M good one rod. It's a crappie rod. It's got a lot of good backbone, fast tip. I'm going to take this Z-Man off of here, and then we're going to put that thumper on there. There we go. This is one that's got both things to it. a grub tail, curl tail, and the paddle. So basically it's two things in one. So I wouldn't say this is exactly swim bait. In fact, that small tail that you see on there is one that's called a slab dragger that is with Team Crappie. And that one, I've done very well with bass. Again, it's a crappie lure, and I've caught a lot of good crappies on it, but it also works for bass, especially when they're really, really finicky and they still want a blade though on it or something of that sort. But it's just a straight swim bait like those I've been using, but it's got a small tail just like this one has. So, but it's about yay long. I don't have one of those here right now. But anyway, let's give this puddle thumper a try. So far, as you can tell, I haven't caught anything on this, but I have had some hits. Maybe they don't like that much action to it, I don't know. But it does have a tighter wiggle on the tail, without a doubt. And one of the things too that I ought to bring up here is the weather we've been having. It's hot weather, like I had mentioned earlier, that I always use the 4-inch worm, and I've been doing very well on that. In fact, you can see a video that I did with the 4-inch worm on fishing hot weather with it. But it's now hot. Last night we had really some strong storms. Early this morning, actually, heavy rain has been hitting. There's been 2 to 5 inches of rain through the area. It's just been scattered. And so, you know, it could be something with that, because this lake has definitely come up some. The water is very murky. That's just changed it. But I was sure that this puddle thumper, and I'm not going to give up. I mean, I'm going to give it a try yet, and we'll see what happens. Because a lot of fish back in this cove where I'm casting into. And then out there's some weed islands. And I've been hitting those, and I'm trying the different retrieves. This is a very good lure to use for your swim retrieve, where you're just going like this. You're pumping it pretty much, or letting it go all the way to the bottom and bringing it up, and letting it go all the way to the bottom. This one is excellent for that because of the fact it does have so much action to it swimming. And again, maybe that's the problem. They just don't want that much. But we'll see what happens now. Because of this weed growth, I think this head is just a little bit too much for this thumper. It's not letting it go. I'm getting hits, but they're just not hitting the way I'm wanting them to. And with the 4-inch worm, I've been using a 3/32 ounce head. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this thumper, and I'm going to move it to my Sam Heaton super sensitive rod. It's also a B&M, and we'll see just what happens with it. Oh, lost him right there. Lost the fish right there. Right about when I was going to bring him in, he was in the weeds. That's the only one that I've actually caught. I've had several on, or rather several hits. I haven't had them on, but and they have been hitting this thumper, but not until I switched to the smaller head. So that kind of shows you right there that if you change around in heads, which you probably already know, that you can actually come up with some strikes. And in fact, that one ripped the hook out of the side of it when he had it. But I've been getting a lot of short strikes back here on the tail, I think. And I might go back to trying that one that I had the best luck with, that natural forage bait one, and we'll use that for a little bit, and then I'll let you go, because I've actually told you all the different things about swim baits, you know, just the basics. how to get started. So let's try that a little bit and we'll see what happens and take it from there. Ton of weeds, without a doubt, but got a bit of surprise for you. I didn't catch him on a swim bait. They just are not in that mood. It's hot weather. They're hitting some on the swim baits, but I got this one on a 4-inch worm. Just what I told you that I was. It's not a big one, but I caught him and he was down in the weeds. 4-inch worm got him, and that's what they're hitting on. But at least I got to tell you about swim baits and the different types of tail action and the switching around from the different heads that we got, and I pretty much covered it all on what you can do as far as fishing swim baits. It wasn't important really to catch the fish, except for the fact that I just had some on camera. So until next time, get out of the water and enjoy a great day of fishing. I gotta get this one off and back in the water. Well, this fish that you're about to see here was caught after the cameras were turned off. It's 6 pounds, 12 ounces, 22 3/4 inches long. It was caught on an R4, a natural forage bait R4 4-inch finesse worm with a bee fishing jig head, 3/32 ounce. A bait that I use a lot in hot weather, and it's definitely hot today. And I know this video was about swim baits, but I told what I wanted to about swim baits and the tails and that. And I was mentioning the fact that I caught them on that R4 worm. And I already showed you I caught that one small one, but I got this one afterwards, and I wanted to show it to you.